Ready to roll? Yep. What's up, everyone? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. Today, we got a wonderful guest in the house.
Yes,
I'll introduce him in a second, but first, we got my boy Logan Hyder, my co-host and a producer.
What's up?
With Cinema 83, and he always does his thing, crushes it. And our guest today is Mr. Matt Johnson of the GrindSZN.
What is up? What is up, everybody? The grind don't stop. Don't forget it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love it, man.
Oh, me.
Well, Matt, so we know you on the apparel company GrindSZN,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
What else do you do?
Well, I came up out of Chevyville and everything else. It's like I wash cars. I'm out here 2 buckets and a dream, just getting it out how I know how to get it. I've always been an entrepreneur, so it's all about, finding a way I can do it myself without going to everybody else. It's like, oh, nobody knows how to jailbreak phones. I was just jailbreaking phones in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's got a car. Well, I'll make CDs because nobody wants to pay their actual price for a CD. But $5, here you go. Here goes a new Drake. Here goes anything like that. So I was always been a hustler.
That's something I used to do when I was in high school, man. I don't listen to much rap music now. I listen to went all the way back, full circle to the metal shit. But I used to always make mixtapes for people, man.
I would make CDs in high school too. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I had
Kids these days don't know about that.
Dude,
they got the Oxford Spotify Premium. They know what about it.
Yep. I'd be on that. There was some website that you had
LimeWire.
Dat Piff.
Dat Piff.
Dat
LimeWire.
Piff.
LimeWire. Dat Piff.
Yeah. Dat Piff is where I found all the new shit, and then I downloaded it on LimeWire, and I make CDs, and everybody's like, "Holy shit!" And I'd be like, "Yeah,
dude,
you ain't gonna hear this for another 2 months."
That's actually true because Dat Piff would release their mixes, and it would have like 35 of the newest songs, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'd be like, "Okay, so those are the ones." And then you go download them on LimeWire.
Yeah, people would be like,
That's
"I ain't
so
heard
funny.
this shit before." I wouldn't tell them about Dat Piff; they didn't know about
That's
it.
so funny.
I lived in a small town. They were like, "Dude, where do you
So
get this
funny.
stuff?" I'm like, "Just
And
hit
so
me up."
true.
All right, I'm the guy.
LimeWire killed a bunch of computers, bro.
Yeah,
Lots of
definitely.
computers hit the graveyard because of that shit.
Definitely some viruses on my parents' computer back in the day. You're welcome.
Lucky enough, I
Yours was-
avoided all of them. I was good. I don't know how. but lucky enough, knock on wood. I don't know how I got by with that.
You got to know the packaging, right? You see the some of those look like you can tell. It's like
Oh,
brand new hot music, 2023. Fire, 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 fire. Like, yeah, let's not download that one. Let's not
One doesn't
download
have
that one.
1,000. It has 2 downloads.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Matt, before we get into it, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, who are you? Where are you from? Tell us, your background a little bit.
Okay, I came up out of Chevyville. I mean, I've always been a hustler, somebody like that. It's like putting in the work and everything else. It's like I learned at an early age, like my cousin Christian, if you know him, you know him. He's better known as Hell Yeah now as a rapper and stuff like that. He still trains, does basketball, but he showed me the ropes and everything else, of like seeing the work behind the scenes. So it was like always I would be the one to give 110 in practice and everything else, but that'd be it. But watching him put in work when none of the coaches was there every day, regardless if it was like raining, something like that, he would go outside and run in the rain and lightning and stuff like that. I'd be calling him like, "Did you just run by my house? Like, get in the house, bro. You see all this that's going on out there. It's like, it's too much. Just chill out." But he showed me that just, okay, yeah, it takes a lot more than just putting in all the work at practice. It's like, you got to go in. You got to do this every single day, even if you don't want to. You can hate it, love it, but you got to put the work in if you want to be great at it.
Yeah, man, that's the whole thing. And you got to go the extra mile. Everybody goes to practice, right? But who's actually going out and doing the shit when they're home?
Right.
Nobody. And the thing is, too, it's like all these people just go to practice and they do the shit that they're required to do, and they think they're going to go pro or whatever the hell, but it doesn't work like that, man.
No, not at all. I've seen so many people so talented, but they were never putting extra work in. It's like, you really could have been something if you was actually putting in more work outside of these things. Just because you're the best then doesn't mean you're going to be the best worldwide or anywhere else. Like, you're good here.
Yeah.
In Chevyville. It's a small town. I'm wait until you go to Murfreesboro, play some of them and stuff like that, and you'll really see. But
Yep. What was your upbringing like and everything?
Oh, I had both my parents. It's real good. Middle class. I've enjoyed it. I've been raised right. I've had so many people in my life that helped me, and just like, it really does take a village to grow people, and people don't see that. It's like, it's not just your parents. It's like my friends' parents, all of them. It's like I still talk to them. I call all of my other friends' mom's mom. But it's crazy. Like in Chevyville, it's just a small town, and most people don't think you can get out. It's like you always got to find your own way. It's like, you think you finish school, go to college, and then come back and just work in a factory. That's all people think you can do. And it's like, my group of friends and stuff like that, we're trying to show them a way. It's like you can get out of that. You don't have to be in the gangs and all that stuff, you know, just because, you know, oh yeah, we in Chevyville, we can get it out the mud, and like, oh, I know I can make some good money and buy all these designer things. And I'm just like, there's more to it than just wearing all the Gucci Louis and all that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you can really get out here and do stuff, but most people don't see a way out of Chevyville.
Yeah, that shit doesn't really get you anywhere, man. It gets you some money, but really, what does money get you? You know, yeah, it gets you things, and yeah, it can, if you're smart about it, it gives you freedom. That's the goal for me, is to acquire wealth, to, you know, to allow more freedom in my life and my family's life. But you know, a lot of people think like that's just the main goal, but they don't have anything else.
They hadn't seen anybody else do it, or it's like, oh yeah, there's a couple people that do make it out, but other than that, it's just like, oh yeah, I know what I'm about to do. I see what everybody else is doing in this town. I'm about to do the same thing. It's like, nah, you can find another way out. I'm like, I'm proud of seeing people now trying to do other things, make their own businesses and grow like that, but I'm always going to help. Like, I see somebody else trying to do their own thing, I want to go out and help them, like put them on with some people. It's like, hey, I know this person is doing this, you should holler at them. It's like, I always want to be that connecting factor. It's like, if one makes it, we all make it, you know?
Hell yeah, man, I love it.
So where did that mindset come from versus the other people that, like you said, just kind of sink into like what's around them?
I don't really know. It's like, I've always been that one is just like, let me think outside of the box. It's like, I've always been really smart. It's like, I noticed in math, it's like, I didn't have to show work to get the answers. Like, I was that one who's just like, oh yeah, it's this. And they was like, oh, you need to show your work. I'm like, I'm not going to show my work if I can get all my homework done.
That's like the dumbest
Yeah,
rule
it's like,
ever, bro.
I would get my homework done in class before the teacher would get done teaching the math lesson or something like that. And it would be like, oh, okay. So Matt's the only one in here that can show work. And people was like, okay. I'm like, all right, if I can do stuff like this, it's like, what can I do at the next level and stuff like that? And it's always been thinking outside of the box. It's like, all right, okay, they're mad, but let me see if I can talk them out of that or something. So it's always been one of those things. It's like, like think back to a child. It's like always asking why. Why not ask why now? Like, why stop asking why, you know, get to the bottom of stuff. It's like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to find out how to do it. So then it's like, oh yeah, how did you know how to do this? I'm like, I don't know. I was just watching some videos or something like that, or somebody taught me. It's like I'm always trying to consume knowledge. It's like,
yeah, I feel you, man. Well, I'll go ahead and say math was fuck. I wish I had that skill, man. I was terrible at math. I still am, dude.
Yeah,
Luckily,
we
got iPhones and calculators.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't need fucking, you know, algebra and shit. I mean, that I don't think anybody does, but
Not on a date. Not like that. They don't.
no, I don't need it.
Sure.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, I just add,
I mean, like
subtract,
what I'm saying is there's probably shit going on around us that requires algebra that I haven't thought about, like probably this. Like, I don't know. There's probably math involved, like more than I see, but on a day-to-day, I'm not doing fucking quadratic formula and shit.
Hell no.
That's so
None of us
formula.
are. None of us.
Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, right.
Like-
I don't even know what that means.
Hey, Joe, I had this formula. I had a question.
Sounds like an old book.
PEMDAS and everything else. You know?
Yeah.
That's the only thing you still see around. People post it on Facebook and stuff like that.
that's
It's like,
funny.
what is the answer? And it's like, oh, let's see who remembers.
Yeah. Which one you do first? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you go to MTSU or anything?
Yep, I went there for 2 years. I ended up graduating in 2019. I went to Motlow first with the Tennessee, whatever it was called. I can't remember, the little free 2 years. So I went to Motlow first, got my free 2 years, and then went to MTSU. And
The Promise.
Yep, the Promise. Yep.
That's
And
1 year removed from that. Literally the next year after I graduated.
I graduated 2019 from MTSU.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys were there at the same time and didn't.
Probably, yeah. I was exercise science, so I was over in that building most of the time.
Good old Jones College of Business.
Yeah, nice. I tried to do, man, I was going business, and then they had me in accounting, and I was like, fuck this, dude. You know, I had to, like, I'm one of those people, man, it's just like, I got to be into something, you know, and going to school was more so of a goal, not like, I don't know, a requirement for life to me. I was just like, man, I just want to knock school out, and so I focused on what I'm good at, and exercise science is that. So I just went that route, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm just learning business as I go now. It's like you talked about asking questions, man. Like I'm one thing I suck at is asking anybody for help. Like I feel like I got to do it all on my own, except for with the podcast shit. You know, Logan, I was like, all right, you got to do all this, man. I'll fuck it up. But you know, as I've grown with the brand and just made moves, like I'm always asking. You know, I've got a lot of mentors around me, a lot of people that have a lot of experience in business and just a lot of successes, a lot of failures, and of course I make my own, but you know, you learn a lot from people around you. You just gotta be willing to find out. You know what I'm saying?
Asking questions.
Yep, but like you
always
said,
good.
yeah, thinking outside the box, dude.
Got to.
Yeah, man. So what was I going to say? So you started the grind season, right? And so was that after you got out of school and everything?
Yeah, it was more like the last couple years of college when it really started. It was like 2018, something like that. I dropped the first one, but it was like a whole group of us always at the gym. Same time, around 5, 6 o'clock. Nobody called, texted, anything. If you was there, you was there. You was working out with all of us, and we was all pushing each other. So it was like a group of us, and it's just, hey, you put in the work, it's time to grind, ain't nobody watching us, like, let's make some changes and stuff like that. I know we're all going to push each other, like, let's keep going.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know what, yeah, it is a grind, the grind don't stop, and it's like, yeah, grind season. What season were you in? It was like, it was a cold season. I'm like, yeah, it's the grind season now. And it was like, I'll throw it on the shirt and let's see how it does,
Yeah.
I was like, F it, I just sold my rims because I was about to go to MTSU. I was like, I got some money now. I'm just like, I got this random stack of money from the rims I sold. Like, let me do something with it. And I'm like, all right, I'll throw this on a T-shirt and everything else. And that's how I came out with the first shirt. It was 366, 25-8, dominate the day. It's like, there's no days off. You always got to put the work in. It could be a rest day. It could be any kind of day. You just got to put the work in. And a lot of people don't think it's like, it doesn't have to be in the gym. It's everything in life. If you really want it, you got to put that work in. So
that's what the grind season means then. And the season's year round.
Oh yeah,
don't
stop.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And it's kind of like Relentless Pursuit, man. It never stops, bro. You just keep fucking rolling with it.
Oh yeah, that's why I like most of the people over here. It's like you, Tyler. It's like, oh yeah, I want to hang with y'all more. It's like every time I'm around y'all, it's like, ooh, I got a new idea or something like that. It's like I stay with the people that's like, if new ideas come, it's like I want to be around these people more often because it's like, we're all trying to grow. If one boat goes up, we all go up.
Yep, that's a fact, man. And the thing is like, you surround yourself with people that are on the same path. Like, having people like you guys and, Tyler, Ruck, fucking Roy Mangrum, a lot of people that have been on the podcast. It's just like everybody shares that mindset, and that shit's contagious, man. And that's the people you surround yourself with, man. Like that'll filter into your life. If you got a bunch of bums in your life, man, you're gonna be bumming.
Exactly.
And I hate to say it, but hopefully they can notice your changes and notice your progress, and maybe they want to jump on board. But you can't sit there and wait for them the whole time either.
Oh no, yeah, it's always down to the little things,
I'm sure you've had people like that in your life.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people just like, oh, why'd you go all out on just my business card? It's like, well, I don't see myself as just some small business. I see myself down the road where it's like, oh, we're making multi-million-dollar company type things. Like, I want the best. I'm like, I'm looking into the shirts. There's a certain material I want. I'm like, I want that polyester, like dry fit materials. Like, I know those are the best feeling for like working out for me. So I'm like, I know people love them and that you don't have to work out in them. It's like a perfect shirt to go to sleep in or something. It's just that material is just like, oh yeah, okay. So it's like, it's time to change it up. And, next year I'm going to do a little cotton, a little this, a little that. But it's like, everything I've ever dropped, there's certain meanings behind it. Everything has, its own meaning and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I'll have to check more of your stuff out and, ask you about that too.
Big bad.
So what else about the grind season is like important to you? I mean, how big is it now? Who all do you got a part of it?
It's right now it's still just me at the top. That's it. I've been a one-man show. I've had friends help me out here and there from photo shoots, being in the photo shoots, doing this, doing that. But it's like right now it's really just me. About to make some changes started like next year. So those will be things to come here shortly. Y'all just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, it's like the logo, breaking down to this like simple logo and everything else. It all has meaning, Everybody's a king and queen. That's why I look at it. It's like that's what the crown is for. It's like you all can be your best stuff. This is half the logo and everything else. This is a new design. This is the half and half. Nice. I call it the half and half. It's like it's a little foreshadow to what's to come and everything else. It's like it's not the same font that I normally use on the shirts. It's a little bit different. It's only half the logo because there's a lot more to come. Y'all see here soon. It's starting next year or so, but it's like it's the crown and everything else. Everybody's kings and queens. It's like the panther is like it only attacks in the dark. You never see it coming until it's way too late and it's in attack mode. So that's why I went with the panther. It's like it's my king of the jungle. It's like, oh, you don't see me coming. You don't know about me too much. Nobody really talks about it. But when you see it, you see it. You know what it is.
Yeah.
That's the type of appearance I like to put out.
Oh, yeah, man. And logo meaning is important, man. I don't know if I told you about my logo and what it represents. But so essentially, do you know what it stands for? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I put a lot of thought into that, man. And, like I said, the Ouroboros, the serpent biting his tail, that infinite that represented the infinite, and then, the wolf, man. It's like you got the panther that represents that, but to me, wolves are always in pursuit. They're never stopping, man. No. They're always hunting for prey, and they repeat that cycle over and over again, man.
Exactly.
And that's what I like to look at, man. Like being a part of Relentless Pursuit, you're a wolf. You know, you're getting after it, and you're constantly moving.
No,
so
definitely. No facts. And that's also like even the eyes. I put a whole white eye. There's no eyeball people like that because it's like that's when I'm in full tag mode. If you ever see me in the gym, you'll see me just roll my eyes in the back of my head. But that's me just channeling in all my anger, pain, everything else like that, bringing it all back. And I'm like, that's me just getting into that zone. It's just like that's why I put the white eyes on it.
Nice.
Like several people's asked me, and I'm like, you'll see one day when I talk about it. And that's what I've been working on, putting out more information, the backstory, and all the meanings now.
I love the way the white eyes look too. Anyways, I think it just looks a little more darker.
Yep.
You know, like a lot of my art, I got tattooed on me. If there's any kind of face, it's got white eyes, just because it looks a little more aesthetically.
Menacing.
Just looks more menacing, man. Don't put a pupil in it.
Nah,
I'll be doing that.
I like the
No
symbolism.
pupils. What's that?
So I like the symbol, like how each part of it's thought out. That's how I like to do stuff myself as well.
Yeah, man. Well, a lot of people just throw something.
It's in the details, baby.
It's in the
details.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's like all the packaging, everything I do. It's like I want you to know. It's like okay, yeah, he's here to stay. It's like I'm not playing around. These are no games. It's like I want the
like a
best
trendy
material
little-
and everything else. Yeah, it's not trendy. It's like I
just
dropped
gonna make a
leggings.
shirt and then-
Everybody that bought leggings loved them. It's like I just didn't like them because the logo wasn't exactly where I wanted it and stuff like that. So it's like, no, I'm not. Yeah, if you want a pair, here they are. You know, a little cheap price, but I'm not like really pushing them or nothing like that because it's like they didn't come out perfectly how I wanted them. So it's one of those things. It's like
I've had things that I haven't even put on the site because maybe the material wasn't good, and I'm like, you know, I'll sell them at events or whatever for like $10. I'm like, hey, listen, this isn't a representation, like material wise, isn't a representation of the brand, and I didn't want to put it on the site because if people order it, they're like, what the fuck is Joe using, you know? But it's just, you know, if I can explain to them, like, hey, these are, I still got them regardless, you know, but I'm very picky about like what I put out there.
I had a buddy of mine who started a brand, and he also made a pre-workout, and then he, along with that, he was like making merch, and poor guy was just so misguided on it, and he was using drop shipping, so it was just like the most basic little website that like with template stock photos, and the actual shirts themselves were just terrible material, and then because it was drop shipping, he had to charge so much. And I was like, bro, I'm not, like, with all due respect, I was like, why would someone pay $40 for a tank top that's not even comfortable just because it has your brand on it that nobody knows? Like, you've just started this from scratch, and you're expecting people to pay $40, and you don't even have good material on your shirts.
It
like,
ain't gonna work.
to
It's
me,
not gonna work.
you know, and I guess in a person who makes apparel shoes in that scenario, you'd be like, well, I just can't really afford the other one. It's like, well, I hear you, but I just wouldn't do it then. You know what I mean? Because like you put it out there, and somebody puts the shirt on, and it's like immediately, it's like, oh, this isn't comfortable.
Yeah, I wear it because it's like a friend's shirt, like, but usually I end up wearing it around the house, you know, and it's not no disrespect to them, but I like when I go out, or, you know, just running errands through the day, like, I like to be comfortable in this shit, and I like to fit well. Like, I'm not a fashion guy by any means, but I just want my shit feeling right, you know? Like,
well, and that's my thing with him is I'm like, you got to understand that this is like maybe someone would look past that if you were like, they really knew your brand, like all this stuff, but like you don't really have any brand awareness, and then on top of that, your shirts are really bad material.
They're not going to come back.
Yeah, it's just not gonna.
That'll be
it's just
one
a
and
bad
done.
idea.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And what was I going to say? You know, like I always use this example. Like I'm a big black metal fan, right? So I go to concerts, you know, and these bands, you know, come tour the U.S. and shit. And you know, black metal, you pay $25 for a concert ticket. They're traveling. They're playing every other night. And I always like to support them, so the best way to do is to buy their merch. So I always buy a couple shirts, and I've got all these shirts from fucking concerts in my closet, but I don't wear them because they use like the Gildan heavy cotton that's like the sleeves like flare out. After you wash it once, like the shirt, I'm tall, the shirt gets shorter, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wear this out. It don't look right. It's a cool fucking
don't
shirt.
look right.
I love the graphics, but damn, man, you use a better shirt.
I will look at the tag before I buy it. I'm just like, no, just that material. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I already know how it's about to feel. It's like, no, I don't even want it. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, you could do better.
Yeah, and to your point from before too, like I respected, like whenever you had yours, and like with what you're talking about with the materials and stuff, whenever you feel it, and for one thing, it gives you like credibility. I feel like because like, oh wait, this feels like a real shirt, versus like the Gildan heavy cotton. Like you said, you pick it up and it's like cardboard almost. It's like what I don't know. It's just different. I just feel like it gives you legitimacy to have like really good material. But again, it just goes to the the importance of the details, and like if you're really committed to like excellence in your brand and your business, then like it's like, no, I gotta have the best material I could possibly have.
I don't care if my shirts go up an extra $1. It's like I'd rather pay that extra $1 than keep the same material that I've been using. It's just like I love it. It's just like 100%. It's one of those things. It's like, no, I'll bite that bullet on there and stuff like that. And it was like you talking about the pre-workouts. I was talking to somebody else and he was telling me some information about it and stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, if a pre-workout ever changes, it's because they didn't fully break it down. And like I need to be a part of the RDA process if they want to do changes for another place to make it and all this. And it's just like, that's back to, I'm like, I don't know where I just randomly heard that. I was just hearing it at the right time at the right place. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I know that now if I ever decide to do pre-workouts and stuff like that. It's like, you never know. It's just like these shirts, it's all this. It's like I did it for hours, like looking at these different materials. There's been several nights just wasted on trying to find the right stuff. It's like, all right, well, I'll order one of these shirts and see how it feels and stuff like that first before I even think about doing that shirt style or something like that. So that's what I've been cooking up the last couple months. It's like, bro, why ain't you drop much? It's like, it's the hoodies. I was like, I wanted to do more this winter, but y'all are getting hoodies. I'm working on other things right now, trying to do it right next year.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is like sales ain't been like what they used to, but I was putting out more releases, and then but I moved in here and like I got to focus on all this shit. There's a lot of moving pieces. I can't just keep doing the same thing with apparel at the moment. Exactly. Beginning of the year, some new stuff's coming. I'm stoked for it, but, you just got to kind of readjust as you go, too. As always, this episode is brought to you by Relentless Pursuit. Check us out on the website at relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com, on Instagram at relentless_pursuit. And for the headquarters stuff, relentlesspursuit_HQ. Definitely keep checking this podcast out on every platform. Like, share, review, and subscribe. We are also looking for sponsors on this podcast. It's growing insanely fast. The analytics are beautiful, and so look, if you're looking for an opportunity to get your brand or whatever it is out there, reach out to me at relentlesspursuitlifestyle@gmail.com, and we'll work with you.
Pretty please.
And also, we have an ad read by my man, Matt. Yes, sir. This podcast is also brought to you by the GrindSZN today. Mr. GrindSZN here. You remember the grind don't stop. If you want any merch, anything like that, go to thegrindzn.com. That is TheGrindSZN.com. You can check me out anything. If you want to holler at me, I am JIV on Instagram, everywhere else. Tap in with us. It's where the grind don't stop. We got all your gym apparel needs right now. Come holler at me.
Whew. All right.
Man's a professional.
I love being on the mic.
The journey's the best part of it.
Oh yeah, you can't beat it. It's a lot. It's like my mother was one of my main people that I saw growing up and everything else make a big change. She used to be real big, and I saw her lose all the weight and put in the work and stuff. So that's one of the big motivational factors in my life and everything. It's like my mother, she's a real rider. It's like my dad was military, so I got all that basic right there. It's like I got these certain things. It's like you can't change this about me. I'm going to be a gentleman all my life. It's just who I am. I got in trouble for saying sir one time to a gentleman. He's like, don't call me sir. I know I'm older. You got great manners and everything else, but don't call me sir. He's like, we're in the gym together. We're boys. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's a habit now. It's one of those things I can't break.
I hate when people don't understand that. It's funny because I'm always yes sir, yes ma'am. I'm very, I always try to be very like polite. Mm-hmm. One, I was military too. I was military for 6 years, so it's just part of it. But I was raised that way, man. Like my household, like that's what my parents taught me. So any woman or male, like I refer to them that way. And people are like, oh, don't call me ma'am. It makes me sound old. I'm like, it's not what it is. It's nothing. I don't know how it makes you sound old. It's just fucking respectful. Yeah. I could be like, hey, what's up, chick?
What's up, bitch?
All these words.
What's good?
So people, it's weird that people like, I don't know, if people speak to me that way, I really appreciate it.
I don't even think about it, nothing like that. It's just like, I forgot I even said sir. I didn't even think about it. It's just one of those things that just rolls out. It's like I was raised right. I'm going to be a gentleman my whole life. I mean, some people might walk over me for it, being nice all the time and always just being polite. It's just, don't get it fooled though. It's like we can get down and dirty too.
Oh,
but
hey, don't mistake kindness for weakness.
Yeah, please don't.
I was talking about that to my woman last night. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm always going to be kind and respectful to people. Like that's just what I do. I love people. But as soon as you cross that line or cross that boundary, dude, I can fucking write you off and I'll be a total dick. Yeah. For as long as you know me. And some people are like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do that or don't hold grudges. And I'm like, it's not that. I just like you cross that line. Like I I'm gonna make it known. Like,
exactly.
We're not cool like that. So
like you can take me into like way past where you should be able to take me, but once I decide it's over with, it's over with.
Oh yeah, that was like me working security. I was always the nicest person there, and then somebody saw me just pick up this dude and just like, you're going out now, you're leaving. He's like, whoa, put me down. Like, no,
with
I'm
a big
not putting you down.
I couldn't imagine you doing this. Like,
he was like a little bit. He was bigger than me and everything else, and I just picked him up, and he was like, I've never been done like this. I'm like, yeah, we're not playing these games. I said, you better stop now. He's like, I was being nice, and now I'm not being nice. Like, you're getting carried out of here. And people are like, I did not expect you to do that or just pick him up like that and pull him out. It's like, I'm just doing my job right now.
I still feel like you'd be doing it with a smile, though.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like the whole time smiling, looking at the people at the cameras like, hey, send me that. I was definitely that guy. Like, send me that video, please. I'm like, so I know at one point it was like somebody definitely saw me just dragging a man's feet, looking at everybody like, yep, don't be like him, guys. Don't be like him. You better listen to us.
Yeah, like a little kid, just like, all right, here we go, taking him out. You guys see this? Okay, come on, everybody act right now.
The only thing upsetting was like the owner's like, why don't y'all throw him over the fence? I'm like, I didn't know we could do that. If I had known we could have thrown him out, we wouldn't have carried him through the whole bar so everybody could see. I really would have tossed him over the fence. I didn't care.
So you said that you think that like your manners, but you think that like energy that you have, that like happiness, that joy kind of that you feel, or that attitude that you have comes also from your parents?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like, it's always been nice and everything else. It's like, my dad is a person that knows everybody. He looks like the most scariest, intimidating person ever until you get up and start talking to him. He's the person who'll talk to anybody, everybody. There's all these kids now that have grown up and be coming up to us and everything else. Like, oh yeah, I remember you. I remember him and stuff like this. At this tournament, he was talking to me, and it's like, it's always been one of those things bred into me. It's like, always be nice, be polite. I mean, it gets you a lot further in life, you know, in the long run, because it's like, there's so many connections I've made. It's why Tyler trusted me. It's like, I'm going to be a straightforward, honest person. I'm trying to help you. It's like, I got my own business, but I also want to help you grow, because if you grow, I can grow. And I'm learning all the back stuff. It's like, I got to meet Joe because of that. If I would never just jumped on with Tyler and Ambition Elite, I never would have met Joe at like the Rumble in the Borough, Brendan Curry's event he had and everything else. So it's like, man. It's like so many people.
That is when we met. That was a while back, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's a long time. Full circle.
I know. I saw him at the event we did. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. He's like, oh, we met a couple times. I'm like, fuck. And and like, I thought about that for like a couple of days. I was like, I'm a piece of shit, dude. He's like, I can't believe I forgot him.
We hung out like 4 times, but whatever.
It's so good. It's like, but I was always in ambition stuff and everything else. It was the first time I ever mentioned about my company and stuff like that. It's like, I never talked about my company when I was doing his stuff. It's like, I'm just out here trying to meet people. It's like, I always love meeting new people, hearing their stories and everything else.
Yeah.
So one thing that we talked about before was like Roy, like Tyler's been on a couple times, and for the audience who doesn't know, we're talking about Tyler Gentry. He's been a guest 2 or 3 times on here, but he's a superstar. Everybody loves Tyler.
Tyler, man.
One thing that was interesting about him, and then Roy Mangrum also was on when he has Barbell Voodoo. And I made it a point to say that like it's interesting, or it's good. It's interesting, but it's also a very good thing. Like right now, you have an Ambition hat on, right? And you were talking about how you go work, help Tyler out, and you'll be wearing Ambition stuff, right? And then you have an apparel company, but you've had probably 3 or 4 other apparel companies on your podcast. When maybe the common intuition would be like, why would I want to promote another? You know, so kind of both your perspective, but like start with you because you were talking about Ambition specifically. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Whenever you're going out and doing a booth with Ambition, wearing Ambition stuff, but you have your own thing.
I mean, it was all new to me because I'd never done a pop-up. I'd never been at like a lot of these gym events and stuff like that. Growing up, I never got to come to any of them because none of them really happened in Chevyville or anything like that. So it's like once I started driving and hearing about these things, it's like, I want to be a part of this. And Tyler's like, hey, we're creating the elite group. And it was like my boy Dave was like, oh, yeah, Ambition, some good people. So I was like, all right, I'll link up with them. And then they did that. And I'm like, I'll join up. And then he texts us in our little group and is like, hey, does anybody want to come help with a pop-up? And I'm like, I'll be there. I ain't got nothing to do this Saturday. Like, why not? And I'm like, I can learn some new stuff, you know, get out there, meet a whole bunch of other people in the same field and seeing if I'm doing the right thing. It's like, for the longest, I never knew what I wanted to do in life. And now doing this, it's like I get reinstated and, you know, just reconfirmed like every day. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I really enjoy this. And it's showing to other people, everybody else out here now rocking shirts and stuff. It's like, I've taken over the Chevyville Planet Fitness. Like at some point throughout the day, you're definitely going to see at least 2 or 3 grind season shirts in there. It's like, I love it. Yeah, even the people there at the gym, it's like, oh yeah, I'll be just kicking it with them for hours, just talking to one of the guys up there that used to be a trainer over this way. But it's just like, it's just one of those slow things. It's like I'll take my time with it, you know, just slow and steady. You know, it wins the race. So it's like I'll just take my time, plot my little pieces here and there, and just go from there. That's
a tough thing for me because I have the gym here, so I train out of here, but I'm here all day every day. So it's the best option. Like going to a commercial gym would just cut so much time out of my day, and just my availability. But it's tough for me, man, because I know I need to go like meet a bunch of people, and I'm good with people.
Oh yeah,
and I love people, but like I'm also a hermit, man. Like I love just being here, just fucking grinding by myself, like on the computer, doing inventory, put a dip in, playing some music, just doing my shit because I really do like being alone a lot of times. It's weird because I'm like introverted, but I'm not. I don't know. It's just that weird extrovert. Yeah, I think it's I did this thing called Human Design. It said I'm a generator, and it said I was what was it? Fuck. I don't know, but basically it described me like just to a T, like that. Like I'm very internalized and like introverted in a sense, but also like I'm willing to go after it in every fucking way too, and like I'm good with people. So I don't know, it's relatable.
I don't know which one it is, but like. Because there's like introvert, extrovert, introverted, extrovert, extroverted, introvert. Like I don't know which
introvert because he wants to stay in but loves being out.
Yeah. And I was gonna say there's one. It's probably that same one, but where like you prefer to be alone, but you excel in social situations still.
Yeah,
most definitely. That's
yeah.
Because I can't excel in like just alone situation. Like I mean, there's a lot of stuff I do on my own, but if I had a job where I was just working on a computer all day every day, like I would not excel.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. A lot of people can do it, and like props to them, but like I would fucking
no, I'd lose it.
Dude, I'd lose it. I'd be falling asleep. I wouldn't get anything done.
Oh, bro, you talking about video editing?
Dude, hey,
no, listen,
you're the man for doing that.
No, I told. Well, this is partly because I had nothing going on in my business, to be fair, so I wasn't doing a whole lot of work. But like I told my mom, just very shortly into starting my business, I felt like I was doing like a social experiment on myself. I'm just at home all the time by myself, and I never see anybody. And I just edit or like talk to clients. Like, and I have no social interactions other than like business interactions. And most of the time, like, there's like it's pretty frequent that I'll spend like literally all day at home. I mean, I'm working at home, but like I won't leave my house at all.
Oh yeah.
Thank God I have my dog though. Swear to God, like him being able to take him outside for a walk is like the best thing because I get some fresh air. I take him out so much that
you got some company.
Yeah, I got some company. I get the blood flowing every once in a while. Like if I didn't have him to go out, like fuck. Actually, I remember before I had him, and I would just pace around. I would literally just pace around. So, anyways, yeah, it's difficult. Is my point. But
yeah, and one thing I want to touch on too, you're talking about setting up the boost for the ambition. Like while you're starting your thing, you're representing that, but at the same time, you're learning. You're learning how to interact with people and like get your brand out there.
Get out of my comfort zone because I'm always been that one. It's just like I know my group of friends. That is all I need. I'm that guy that would just walk around with headphones on in school the whole time and not talk to anybody else. It's like everybody knows. I'm like, hey, what's up? What's up? That's it. But I'm going on my way. I'm doing my own thing. I've always been doing my own thing. It's like I learned that real quick in like high school. It's like why spend all this money on other stuff when I can do it myself?
Yep.
So I guess my question before was like, why do you two not, because you both have the same mindset about this, why do you not approach other apparel brands as competition?
You go first.
Okay.
I got my mindset on that.
I do in a way.
Is that a better way to ask that?
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I just want to hear what he has to say
but
first.
Like, I do in a way. It's like I'll pay attention to what everybody else is doing over here, but at the end of the day, I'm like, we're better off working together than competing with each other because it's only going to bring one of us down. So I would rather put in the work with y'all and then we all learn something than, me holding back on something and Joe knowing something. It's like if we put this together, we could both grow exponentially and stuff like that. So I'd rather go that way because I've always been that way. It's like, teamwork always wins. Like once you work together with people, you're going to go further than what you would do going alone.
Yeah, it's like you got a boxer out there, right? They're fucking knocking people out. They didn't do it on their own. No. They got their team they train with, man. They got their coach. Like, there's always those aspects. Like, yeah, it looks like you're just out there doing it on your own, but you're not. You can't get that. You can't get that level of success by yourself.
Oh, no.
But with me, very similar, man. Like, I guess I don't look at everybody as competition, but subconsciously, I know I'm still competing because guess what? Like that's why you're an entrepreneur. That's like why you build a brand because you want to succeed and you want to go fucking far. That's not necessarily why because you have your message and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. But I think subconsciously you're always like you want to outwork everybody. I think that's just human nature, man. Like I want to be the best. I want my brand to be fucking massive. So like but it's healthy competition. But on the same token, I'm not you know, if anybody's got a question that has a brand that's similar to mine, you know, unless they're like, hey, I had a guy one time be like, yeah, I think I got a name for my brand. And he was dead serious. And I was like, oh yeah. He was like, I'm thinking Endless Pursuit. And I was,
he told you that?
Dead serious.
He told you that?
I was like, I kind of stood there.
Oh, this was in person too?
Yeah. And I was like, all right, you serious? And he's like, yeah, man. I talked to some people about it, and I think that's just the way I'm going to pull the trigger on. I was just like, cool. It never happened, but I was like, what the fuck?
Think about that.
I think if somebody said that, I'd be like, listen, dude, like, it's not really going to work together.
Common sense isn't too common.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about starting this content creation company. Tell me what you think about this. Cinema 84.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I was genuinely like thrown off guard that all I could say was like, cool.
you're like,
fun.
awesome. Sounds like something I've heard. I don't know. Anyway,
Well, in the back of my mind too, I was like, it ain't gonna be the same as mine anyways.
Yeah.
It does, just because
Exactly.
it's already kind of like building off of that name. But but that being said, I'm always willing to help anybody, and I want everybody around me to succeed. And there's so much success, there's so much to go around. It's like starting a fucking podcast. People are like, oh, it's hard. Like there's so much competition. I'm like, I don't know. Considering how recently our podcast started and how fucking far it's gotten in this short amount of time.
yeah.
If you want it,
All
man,
about
you can fucking
consistency.
get it, dude. And you
Yeah.
work with people, but yeah, like, so you're competing, but you're not. It's just that balance.
Exactly. You got to put that work in. I mean, like, I've always been competitive, but I don't ever bring it up or anything like that. It's like, yeah, I'm going to put the work in. I'm like, I'm going to be the best. I'm like, I'm going to compete with these people. But it's like, at the end of the day, you never know when you might need help down the road.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, oh, yeah, hey, this. I'm like, you know what? Hey, let me call this person. I know they know a lot about it. See what happens and stuff like that. And you'll never know when you might need something or somebody else to help you.
Yeah.
So it's always good to keep everybody, lined up. You always got to keep the little spare kept away and stuff like that, because you never know when you might need it. So,
Yeah, exactly. And you show it through your actions, right? Like how you pursue your shit. Like, I don't know, I'm very competitive, but I'm not loud about it. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna fucking win this shit. Or if I do win something, I'm not like, fuck yeah, look at me. I'm not very showboaty at all. I remember being at this event and we were doing all these crazy games where like basically the goal was like we're in this ring and we're just like, hey, last man standing, we throw each other out, and like we were doing like tug of war over a bonfire. Like, dude, I pulled a dude into fire. Like, it was crazy. It was just all this crazy shit, and I was just winning it all. And but I didn't act like it. I just fucking did it,
everything else.
So, but that's the whole thing. I mean, and I think something that's been tough for me is like, as you grow, like I'm always going to be kind, right? But as you grow, you start like, man, people will disgruntle you, man, and it's hard to keep that mindset like you want to be kind and
hard
like
not to be
cool
bitter,
everybody.
not to
Yeah,
be
because
Exactly.
you kind of like, I've noticed like I built some kind of bitterness, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want that to be a part of me, and like I got to always remind myself, like, don't become that way. You just got to be a little more hesitant with who you grow with, because some people will just take advantage or fuck you.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And that's what I always think about it. Is like back to the being competitive and all that. It's like, I'm not worried about what Joe's doing personally, because I know I can do what I want to do and I'll bring my own style to it.
Yeah.
So nobody will be able to copy what I'm doing with my stuff. It's like, I can put him on game and tell him what I'm about to do, but he won't be able to do it exactly how I do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. That's the whole best part about it. It's like, I can be me. And I'm always going to be me. It's like, I'm going to pull up with my loud music. You're going to hear me coming. I'm never going to change that. It's like the people getting scared, looking at me crazy. And I'm like, I don't care. It's me being me. That's how I do it.
Hey, being you is the most important, man. Be genuine, be authentic.
I was gonna say on that topic real quick. The best things. You don't know this, but I had a YouTube channel first. That's how I learned all my shit, and I did videos for about 3 years. Blah blah blah. I did fitness videos. I had a podcast as well, et cetera, et cetera. So, anyways, I like the principle, self-taught, whole 9 yards, right? So like my principles and like philosophies on content creation, why you do it, how you do it, et cetera, were just very like built from a different place. Like I didn't know I was ever going to do this. Like I never planned on like, I'd never want to like grow up being like a movie, like a filmmaker, or like I didn't go to school for this or anything like that. So it was very much just like, oh yeah, this is what makes sense to me, and just kind of built it that way. And long story short, whenever I came into this professionally, like everything that I was doing was so different than everybody else. And I still to this day, I have conversations that it like blows my mind. Because they'll be like, "Oh, well, this person said they would do it like this." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know about that, but this is how I would do it. It's exactly opposite." Like the TV ad space, for example. TV ads are so expensive; they take so long to make, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come in there $500 by myself. Take me like an hour to shoot. Give me like a week. I'll get it back to you." I mean, literally, I've had people tell me when, like, I'll be having a conversation about a TV ad, and they'll say, "Yeah, we were quoted $10,000. There's going to be like 7 people that we're going to work on it. It's going to take like 3 months to get back." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I got you in a day for 500. So you tell me what you're going to do." You know what I mean? But I didn't mean to do that. Like, I had no idea that that's what they charged. I had no idea it took them that long. I just literally did what made sense to me. And so my whole point in saying all this is that I've always been the kind of person, like, I legitimately could not name another content creation company. Because I don't actually. Now that I'm saying that, of course, my mind's like, well, here's one. But like maybe one. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit. I don't pay attention to what anybody else does. I don't care at all. And it's not even anything against them necessarily, or I don't know, like the competition thing. I've never even. It's weird because, like I said, I would assume that like people like in apparel wouldn't want to work with other people in apparel, but. So maybe that's how I would be around another but no, me and Trent work together though. But anyways, the point being is that I think that for me personally, that has served me very well. Is like actually not paying attention whatsoever to what somebody else is doing and just doing what I feel like makes the most sense and what would work the best and what creates the best content. Just doing what makes sense to me.
Yeah, you're focusing on you.
Yeah, and so
instead of everybody else, I mean, that's the only way you can really grow. So you're just focusing on yourself to grow. So
exactly.
If you're watching what everybody else doing, you'll never go anywhere.
I've heard. I'm trying to think of an example, but like I've heard about that before, right? It's like, how do you keep coming up with all these like, are you studying other businesses to see how you can innovate and shit's like, no.
I mean, that's why I stopped posting on TikTok because I started just doing what everybody else was doing. It's like I enjoyed it. I had fun. I grew a little fan base and everything else. And it was like as soon as I started making what everybody else was doing, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not making TikToks like that. I'll post here and there and stuff like that. But it's like, oh, bro, you grew that following. I'm just like, I don't care. But it's like when I go on there, it's like I'm just making stuff what everybody else is doing. So why make content for it? Like there's no purpose because I mean, I did YouTube at one point. It's like I just wanted to record videos and have footage for later on in life. It's like I can just post it on YouTube. If it blows up, it blows up. But I also have this part of my life documented right there.
That's why I love to do it, right? And I'll make vlogs. You know, for example, that was one of my favorite things to do was vlogs, and it's because of that. Because it's one of my first business cards said the appeal of cinema lies in the fear of death, and it was from that because it's like the appeal of wanting to create this film is because I'm not going to be here forever, and, you know, and that moment's going to pass, and if I can make something out of it, I can hold on to it, you know, almost. But yeah, I guess my point is that like to your point about like nobody could do it the way you do it, right?
Exactly.
Well, just think about that when you're starting a bit. Like if you're out there and you think about about these kind of things, my advice would be just do it your way for the most part.
Oh yeah, that's like when I work with people. I work with Cross this past year, and I'm like, Cross, do the video how you want to do it. I'm like, I only want these couple things, but I want you to do your style. I'm like, that's what I want. It's like, that's what I want you to bring. It's like, I want the videos to be different because you can tell the different people who shot it and their style and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll do my own videos here and there and give my style and you'll see the differences. It's like, you can tell when I shoot the pictures, how I edit them and how I do it and stuff like that. It's like, people's like, it's so authentic. It's like, it's always changing up. And it's like, I mean, that's just from me to him shooting. I'm like, I'll do my style. He has his style. And I'm like, I loving having the different styles. It's like always been one of those people who's just like be able to do this, that, and this. I'm like always been a little jack of all trades. It's like doing all the YouTube stuff, and people's like, oh, I'm starting this YouTube page. I'm like, well, let me give you a little information on this, that, and that. And I'm like, I don't know if I might need you down the road or something like that. Hey, you might get good with a camera. It's like people now just like, oh yeah, I'm doing photography. I'm like, all right, well, here's the basic stuff I know. This will help you. Just take it, run with it. I want to see you grow, and maybe we'll work together at some point. It's like there's several people I've told this year. It's like I want to work together, but it's like the timing's just not right. It's like when the time comes, it'll come. We're definitely still gonna do it. Don't ever forget. You know, like I'm one of those people. It's like just because I said it does not mean I done went back on it or anything like that. We'll get around to it when the timing's right, but the timing's just not right yet.
Yep.
And that's the best thing whenever you have people like, again, going back to what I do, when they're like, no, I want you to do it in your style. Like, that's why I want to work with you. I love the way that your videos look and the way that you create them. And it's like, fuck, okay, cool. That's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, if I was, like, creating content for, like, a company, right, it'd be like, hey, this is the way we do things. And then you go into a client, and I'm thinking, like, damn, I'd really like to shoot it this way. It's like, I can't. So now, but I am allowed to do that, and people actually really like it. And I'm kind of like, well, fuck, okay, cool. You know?
I mean, that's the point of hiring you, though. It's like, you want you to, like, I want that style. That's why I'm paying you and everything else.
And that's why you have your own business, so you can do it your own way, right?
Exactly.
And so to get that response just on you, like I posted that thing the other day with you, and like Charles commented on it, and like a bunch of people were commenting on it, and I was just like feeling a lot of love, and I was thinking, you know what's really cool about this is like I've just kind of been myself the whole time. Like I said, I didn't know shit about this industry. I just came in and was like, hey, this is kind of what I think should be done. And I did it, and people liked it, and I kept doing it, and people kept liking it, and I was just kind of being myself. So now I know it's sustainable, and it feels really good because it's like I didn't build anything. Like, this is just me being me, and people respond to it. So
and one thing I've had, you know, I've been learning too is you talk about competition, right? And I have a hard time. Like I try to compare myself to others a lot of times. Like I look at what they're doing and I'm like, but I always have to come back. You know, like, no, Joe, don't do that. Because one thing I do is like I'll notice another apparel brand and they're creating all this really cool shit that's new, and like they got, you know, like they got these new cool shorts and and all this stuff, and I'm like, fuck, man, like
I missed out on that.
Yeah, how do I get? And then I'll start freaking out, like, man, other people are gonna notice that, like, you know, it's got to draw people away from I don't know, and then I just come back to it, and you know, I always get people reaching out, like I have a couple different shirts, you know, people love the big logo and the quote, just different shirts, and they're like, man, why don't you bring this shirt back? I love that. Or just, I had somebody look at the website, that one's sold out. And I'm like, man, why don't I just stick with my fucking message, man? Like, it always comes back, like, just stick with what Relentless Pursuit's about, and people are going to be attracted to that. Don't be trying to keep up with everybody else's fashion. Joe, you don't fucking do fashion. The nicest you do is like some boots, a blazer, and, you know, that's about it, you know. But I'm not a fashion company, man. Like, Relentless Pursuit is a message, and so I just got to always stay true to that. And it's just always reminding yourself those things and being conscious of what you're about. Oh,
yeah, I'm definitely about that. But I'm also that guy that is about fashion, so everything's got to match. Head to toe. I'm always about that.
I mean, I do need to match, but I just wear black all the time. So
everybody comes to me, and it's just like, oh, I mean, it's just my style. It's like, I know I'm going to go out and buy these shoes, so I'm definitely going to buy 2 or 3 shirts that match it. It's one of those things. It's like I always start with the shoes and go from there and stuff like that. So I get it.
Hell yeah.
1000%.
So, okay. And I think we kind of covered this, you know, we talked about attention to detail, and that's, we covered that quite a bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just one of those
I'm going to
things.
read this quote real quick, because you were talking about a jack of all trades. Whenever I had my channel, the big thing that I did was versatility. I did sports, I did fitness, I did all this shit, and people would always tell me, like, you're doing too much, you need to get more niche with it or whatever. I was like, no, that is my appeal. It's the versatility of it. You come for the sports, you stay for the fitness, or you come for the fitness, you stay for the sports, or whatever. And but like I'm big into like words and phrases and metaphors and shit, right? And it's like one thing that's always bothered me about that. And even when I was a little kid, like I remember leaving football practice one time and be like, I feel like I'm good at all the positions, but I'm not great at any of them. And it was so frustrating, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the sayings always like was annoying to me was like a jack of all trades is a master of none. Right?
They don't finish the quote.
They don't finish the quote, baby. They never finish the quote. They never finish the quote. It's a jack of all trades. It's a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. That's the full quote, motherfuckers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I've only heard the first part.
That's because they only want you to hear the first part. They only want you to hear the first part. It's oftentimes better than a master of one. I love that.
Oh yeah,
I love that. You know, like you see, like I'm more afraid of a man who's practiced one move 1,000 times and 1,000 moves one time, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's balance to everything, right? But I think that there's definitely something to be said about being a versatile. Like just being versatile, being able to do things on your own, being able to say like, oh, I don't know about this, but I trust myself to be able to go learn about it. And
exactly.
Like, you know, great, you're a genius at that one thing. Right, that one thing.
So nice about running my business and everything else is like, yeah, it's just me, but I know how to shoot photos. I know how to do videos. I know how to make all these posts. I know how to use the right hashtags. I know how to do all this because I've learned it, and everything else along the way from doing YouTube. It's like I learned all the SEO stuff, how to make stuff pop and blow up and stuff like that. It's like I've had videos do well. I've got 250,000 views on TikTok. It's like I've done all these things. It's like those are little test runs.
Yeah,
that's what I look at it now. It's like, okay, yeah, I do know this works, so let me do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I know posting this many times will help me grow. Right. And it's like I've done that over this year. It's like I had less than 1,000 followers last year and I got over 5-6K now.
Yeah.
It's like it's the ever-ending growth. It's like I've always been just if you get down to the basics, you learn it again. It's like I relearned how to work out and everything else. It's like I've always relearned all my movements.
Yeah.
Because it's like after hurting my knees and stuff like that, I tore my meniscus. And it's like the last 10 years, I've only took 3 months off and I was out there, tore my meniscus. And it's always been one of those things. It's
How'd you
just
do
like,
that?
Squatting. My favorite squat and just only 225. It's like I'm like, just so my second set and everything else.
Weird or something?
It just the way I came down, it just popped, and I'm like, oh, that didn't sound like a normal pop. And then I started to like put the weight up, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to go do the hack squat, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not. I'm done with legs today, and that was like the only time I've ever took off. And I'm like,
was it painful or just made your leg feel weak?
It was really weak at the moment, and then it's like once I got home, it got really painful, and it's like. It nagged me for a while, and I'm just like, you know what, I'll go here and there, but it was like the only time I've ever really took off, and it's like people see me now, and it's like, oh man, what'd you do? And I'm like, well, you're looking at 10 years of trial, error, and all this stuff. It's like I finally found what workouts work for me. It's like I've always been that one. It's like I wanted to do it by myself because once I learn it, I can teach others.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah, I love it, man.
That's awesome.
I love it.
You got to balance it with putting like hiring for you, for example, instead of learning all of this, having somebody that you can rely on that's a resource. Like you have to be able to do that at times too. But there is definitely something to be said for the mindset of just like I'll just figure it out. I'll learn it.
I think and I think you appreciate it more. Like like right now it's like I'm putting in the work and doing all the things, right? But that's not long term. Like it's not sustainable either. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to do all of it. So, but as the time comes and things are more profitable and everything's like, all right, I'm gonna allocate all this shit that like,
yep, you do this,
you take that. I can give you guidance. Like this is how you keep up with it. But now it's your thing to run, and so that way I can focus on the shit I'm good at. But you also appreciate it because I don't know, it's just part of that growth.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like I never had a lot of money to be out here to pay people to do all these stuff. So it's like I had to learn how to do it to myself. Right. So it's like, yeah, okay, all right. Now I'm starting to get to that point where I can work with other people. It's like it's so nice now. It's like, all right, that's a headache off my back and everything else now. And just like, oh yeah, hey, can you do this? Yeah, here you go. Take care of that. And it's like now I'm about to bring on some people and it's like it's gonna get easier and easier. I'm like, this is nice. I'm like, there's gonna be more problems down the road, but now that I have more people to depend on and stuff like that'll help. Yeah. But it's like just finding the right people. Like you were saying earlier, it's like it's so hard. It's like I got a couple right now that I can see possibly coming on, but it's so hard to get people out here nowadays. It
is, dude. We talked about it, man. Getting people to share the vision, and like if they can't see it, then fuck. They're out there, man. They're out there, but they're hard to find.
That's all I say. It's like my boy Dave dropped 3 songs on patience, about being patient and everything else. And it's like that's one thing in life you got to be patient because when the time comes, the time will come, and everything will line up for a reason and stuff like that. So it's always been that way. Just all right, I'll just keep my head down. I'll find the right people when they come, and like they're starting to show up and meeting all these other companies.
Organically, they do.
Exactly. Like the paths will cross. Sometimes I'll meet people and it's like, oh yeah, we'll definitely do something later. And now here we are. It's like finally working together and doing stuff. And it's like, see, I told you it was going to happen, but I'm like, I couldn't do it then. It's like I didn't have enough money. I didn't have this. It's like my company started out like just $600. That's all I put into it. Like right now, I'm turning a profit and stuff like that. It's like I only put that $600 into it. People out here putting tens of thousands of dollars into companies and not doing nothing. It's just like I'm showing you how to get it straight up out the mud. Just a little bit of money I got from washing cars.
But it's that patience.
Well, what you are too, and this again going to my like how I look at content, which is backwards to how a lot of people are. Is you're resourceful.
Oh yeah.
People just aren't resourceful. It's like mind blowing, like how like non-resourceful people are. Whether it be like in professional context, like I'm sitting across from a business owner, or like the guy I was telling you about before, who's just kind of like a person I'm talking to about it. Like it's like so funny whenever people will say like about, oh well, I need to get equipment or I have to this. I'm like, bro, you have $1,000 phone in your pocket that has 3 gigantic fucking cameras on it. Their entire commercial is about how awesome your camera is. Like, bro, whenever I first started my YouTube, I literally had 2 cinder blocks on a table with my Samsung Galaxy S6 in between them, being held up horizontally on that. And I would sit back like that. That's literally how I made my first. And I did that for 10 months.
Yeah.
I shot fitness videos on that phone. I shot commentary videos on that phone. I used a free editing software.
Right here.
I mean, bro.
So many videos have been shot with that.
Yeah, and I still
and
all the
love
time shoot stuff with my phone. All the time. Like you have a better phone, a better camera in your pocket than 99.9% of cameras that have ever been created in human history. Exactly. And people are like, oh, well, I just can't do it because I don't have a camera. Because I don't have my fucking Sony AX4. It's like, bro, shut up, man. It just drives me crazy.
Just do it. Like, literally just
crazy.
Do it.
And then the second camera I had was a camcorder. Fucking like maybe $300-$400. It was
But that's the difference, man. You like you said, just do it. Like a lot of people will talk about what they want to do, but they will never just do it.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm like saying that it's like the one thing me and all my boys that running the HQC is like, hell, Dave, all them. We have a little phrase that said, what do you got to lose? Think about it that way. What do you got to lose? If you go out and just shoot it on your phone, so what? It could be better off, but you still went out and did it.
Yeah, and it's going to suck regardless at first. Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to suck at first regardless. You can get the best equipment. You can have the best whatever. It's going to suck regardless. You might as well just get that part out of the way.
Oh, yeah. There'll be many times you'll be like, ooh, I should have got this angle. I should have got that angle. But it's like, it's okay. You know that for next time, though.
Exactly.
And that's how you get better at it. And it's just like,
100%.
I've recorded all kinds of videos and I'm starting to do it, putting it out now inside the grind. It's just like all these videos from where I was at and to where I'm at now. And it's like, I didn't think about that then. I was just like, I'm just going to record it, document it, and everything else being here. It's like I always make a couple videos. It's like, and now I'm putting all that stuff out, and it's just like, oh, when did you shoot this? When did this happen? It's just like, I just like to record everything, just keep it. It's just like most times it's just for memories, but now it's like, I could use that. Wait a minute.
That's something I've been I've been trying to get better at that.
All those vlogs, like I told you, the vlogs were my favorite thing to do, and that's probably what I missed the most. I'm probably just going to do those just because I, to your point, ever since I started doing my YouTube, I still just record everything. Yesterday it took 2 hours to upload all the videos I had on my phone to my computer, and I don't even have like a project I'm working on. I'm just recording everything, right? But all of those vlogs were recorded on my phone, all of them.
Hell yeah.
You know,
can't beat it.
And then business is like we were saying earlier, just a little practical advice up there for what we're talking about. It's like I was saying to you earlier. It's like, do you own a business? Yes. Do you work? Yes. Do you have customers? Yes. Okay, you got content all over the place there. Just get your damn phone out and start taking pictures. It's that simple.
Yep.
You know.
Hell yeah.
So, anyways.
So I'm curious, what's been your biggest struggle with your brand? You know, because obviously, you've been going for a while. Like, what's been the toughest lesson you ever learned, or the biggest thing you've had to try to overcome?
It's been just getting in the doorway and everything else. It's like, not being able to blow all that money to come up here and do all these events and stuff like that. I want to do all these other events, but it's like, oh, you got to pay this much. And I'm like, I didn't even put that much into my last drop. I can't afford that. It's just like, that's been the biggest part, just like getting the money right and everything else. And definitely being in Chevyville, I'm showing people, it's like, hey, you want to pay for this marketing and that? I'm like, why? I'm like, right now I'm doing so much better now. It's like, I'll get to that point when I want to get to that point. It's like, it's not like I haven't done the research or even got some stuff from school and everything else. It's like, I know what to do.
Or know how to do it yourself, like we were talking about.
I know how to do it. Yourself. It's just like, it's the point I'm not doing it right now. I'm like, I'm showing you just word of mouth and being out and about. It does the same thing as well. You can still go the organic old school way. I'm like, it's going to take longer, but it's going to be more worth it in the end because it's like everybody will know the full story. It's like, oh yeah, oh, you don't know about this? Oh, well, let me put you on. They can just, because now I'm at that point where I'll be up doing something and people sell my shirts for me. I don't even have to say a word. It's just like they know the whole thing, what's going on, what I've been through, what I used to look like and everything else. Because I've lost over 60 pounds in the last 2 years. It's like people know. It's like I've been working hard, putting in the work. It's just like I'm taking my time with it though. I'm like I could be where I needed to be at now, just completely looking ripped and all that. But it's like, no, it's a journey. It's like there'll be ups and downs and hurting my knee. That was a down, but it's like I learned so much from it. So it's like, okay, I know next time I know what not to do. It's like,
trust me, I know all about getting fucked up physically.
Well, we talk about the sustainable, organic, long-term growth with RP and just in general with brands all the time. And we always use that example that we've had a lot of meetings about this kind of stuff. But I drew a little example one time about it was ASRB, but about how they could basically put $1 million into an ad and come over here, right? They put $1 million, and somebody's like, "Oh, cool!" They make a sale, but the person who made that sale they don't give a shit about ASRB. They just saw an ad, and so they bought some shorts, and then they get the shorts, and they're kind of like, they're okay, but they were $80, and I have no connection to this at all. Yeah. So then they never buy again. Versus somebody who watches the RP podcast, 5-6 times, and eventually they're like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy some shit. They go buy some shit, and then they buy something else, and then they buy something else, and then they buy something else, and then they buy something else. And every episode that you watch, that you put out, they watch, and and that's organic growth.
Yep.
That's trust and connection.
That's how I am though. It's like I want to support my people. It's like I'll get in, y'all all see me in the comments and everything else. It's like I support the people that support me. That's just how I get down. I've always been that way. It's like I'm gonna show love back. It might be annoying at times, but it's like, hey, I'm getting you out there just as much as myself. It's like I'll post here, there. Oh, I'm in this stuff. I'm rocking Ruck. I'm rocking this. It's like I'm rocking my boy Kelman at Chupping Tone. It's like I'm going to support my people because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. It's like, Kelman, let me use this gym to shoot my first video. My boy shot the video for free, and he's like, I'll give you a shirt, bro. He's like, oh, no, I don't want nothing. I'm like, no, I got to give you something for that. And it's just like,
speaking of, if you ever want to do some content here, you're more than welcome, dude.
Oh, yeah. All right, we'll cook up some stuff. I got ideas.
You understand the value of that organic growth, and so that's why you're constantly putting that out there, sharing people's stuff, because you know that's what that matters.
It really grows, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, it's okay. If you supporting, he's supporting, it's like I might as well jump in. Like, it's one of those things.
Well, and like if I fuck with you, and then I see you wearing whatever, it's like, oh, that's like, again, that's why word of mouth is still the best thing, because you're putting your name, ultimately, if you really want to think about it deeply, you're putting your name and character on, like if you were wearing an RP shirt, I'd be like, oh, RP must be cool because he's cool and I know the kind of person he is. So word of mouth is still
Exactly.
Still the best.
Yeah.
Like, I cut off wearing all the other clothing brands, really. Like, if I know some of my boys got it, I'll just buy their stuff and wear it now. It's like I'm getting to that point where my whole closet is becoming like, I got me some RP shirts in there. I got me some of this. I got me some rugs. I got me everything. And it's like, if I wouldn't have saw my boy Dave on Tyler's Ambition page, I never would have looked into Ambition or anything like that. I never heard of him until I saw Dave drop some pictures in it. And I'm like, hey, Dave, who's this? Oh, that's my boy Tyler. You know, he's good people. I'm like, all right, bet. That's how I do it. It's like, if my people put me on, then all right, I'm going to tap in. Let me find out about him. It's like when Tyler was like, oh, yeah, talk to Joe. He's good and everything else, and telling me your story. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll link up and lock in there. And I was like, oh, hey, I like that shirt. Let me go ahead and get one of them and ordered it randomly one point.
Good shit, man.
It's just how I am. It's like.
That's the thing. I only support like my friends' businesses. Like really, I wear RP or like people around me like their shit. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Ryan's really good. Ryan's really cool too. Ryan Freebing.
Oh yeah, that's my boy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I worked with him back when he on the magazine.
Oh yeah, nice.
Did some videos for him, and then I did the expo stuff last year too.
Dope. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that's what's up.
Hell yeah.
That's the way I've always been though. It's like I've learned. It's like, why not just mess with the people that you already mess with and stuff like that better. It's like I want to grow to a point where I know all the people running the businesses that I'm working with and everything in field life. It's like, it could be just my broke down car. It's like I already know who I'm calling. I already got a person for it. Hey man, let's do this.
Well, you know, something you said earlier reminded me of that, and you could tell me if this has something to do with that maybe. But whenever I was growing up, my dad grew up in a small town in East Tennessee, Crossville, and long story short, he was always that way. And I was just thinking about his dad. He did real estate, but he did other stuff too. So I don't really know. I don't think it really came from my grandfather very much. But my dad was a popular guy in high school, whatever. He played football, whatever. I don't know if it came from that or just living there his whole life. But he always knows somebody. Like everywhere we go, he knows somebody.
Yep, that is my dad.
If we're in the middle of Knoxville, some fucking random person will be like, oh, Mark, and you know. And my stepmom gets really like almost irritated by it because she's like, everywhere we can't go in fucking Walmart in Knoxville. You know, where we don't even live, and have somebody come up. But I always thought it was the coolest thing in the world. You know, I just thought my dad was like the most badass person ever.
You're like, dude, he's a superhero.
Literally, like everywhere we go,
be a superstar.
and they know him, and they're happy to see him. Like, hey, Mark, like I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And like, I aspired to be that way, and now I'm very much that way in my communities. Whenever I go places, I'm like, oh yeah, I worked with them, or oh yeah, there's one of my clients right there. Yeah. And I love that, dude. Like that gives me a sense of pride that a lot of things don't. You know, so do you think that maybe that came from seeing your dad?
Most definitely that, and just like also from just detailing cars, like seeing people's faces after it was done. It's just like, oh yeah, all right, I like this, helping people and stuff like that. It's like being there for other people. It's like it's always been one of those things. It's like I know when I was, going through stuff in high school when I didn't make the baseball team, it was like that was everything to me. And it's just like once I did that, didn't make the baseball team, it's like I felt like I was alone all the time. But it's like, man, wait a minute. It's like, how about I'll just be there for other people when they feel this way or something like that. That's what I made it. That's how I made it through. It's like once I did that, I'm just like, all right, okay, I can do this now.
Hell yeah. And we talked about the organic growth and like, finding having the right people a part of things with you. When I first started, I'd come into some money and I was getting going and I was like, I brought on all these athletes, I had 8 athletes at one point and now I have like one of the originals, and it just like, I was like, all right, you're part of the team. Let me do this. Let me invest this in you, The problem with that is that they built expectations, and they ultimately took advantage, and it's just the facts. And so, I'll be like, fuck, man, like that sucks, dude, because I dumped so much into these people ultimately with nothing to show for. Right. But then, organically I've built up other people that just like love the brand and love you for who you are. And like, they just want to be a part of what you're doing. And, I've got like these girls that came, Nicole and Austina, they were here the other night and they were just getting a session in. They were buying a bunch of shit. And, they're just like, Joe, like what? Can we, when you get your next launch, can you get some other stuff printed? We'll take a box and we'll just sell your shit at the gym like we go to. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's dope, man. Like I didn't ask them to do that. They don't fucking get paid by me, but they're like, hey, well, let's go grind and like hustle your shit out. And I'm like, dude, that's so fucking cool, man. And like they'd have no expectations, man. And that's, over time, that's the kind of people you get a part of what you're doing. So that's super
what keeps
rad.
me going. Like it's one of those.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, what keeps you going,
it's
bro?
Other people. It's all them tapping in. Now people asking me for workout advice and all this, and it's like I have a video where I was literally about to go for like 405 on squats, and it's like literally me plugging my phone there, putting it there, started recording. And as soon as I started, someone was like, "Hey, can you come over here and watch me do my squat set real quick?" I'm like, yeah, come on, I'll show you. Like, yeah, that's good, you're doing good. I'm like, I can see you improved on it and everything else. And it's like, that's the best feeling ever now. It's like people come to me for advice and stuff like that. And it's like all these years I kept my head down just trying to learn and consume knowledge, and now people are asking me questions, and I'm like, it's just the best feeling ever now.
I agree.
Jeez,
that's fucking cool,
I agree,
man.
and I feel that because it pays off in a good way. Like you said, that's the best feeling, and it's a good feeling because you're helping somebody else.
Exactly,
and it's a good feeling because that's what you wanted to do, and it's also like at the end of the day, it's like you feel seen.
It's a great feeling. It's like they trust you.
Yeah.
It's like full on trust. It's like, he must know what he's doing and stuff like that. And it's a great feeling. It's just like, man, you can't beat it.
It's all that work that you got to be a credible resource.
Exactly.
Paid off.
Yeah, it's not like I wanted to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning all the time, but I was just doing it because somebody else wanted to work out. Like, hey, the only way we can work out is we go early. I'm like, all right, then, bet. I look like I'll be there early. We'll get our workout.
It looks like we'll see you at 5.
Exactly.
So one thing you kind of sent me, I want to talk to you about. Maybe you relate with it. Mental health and depression.
Oh yeah.
Let's touch on that because that's a big important topic of this podcast. We get on that a lot. So
exactly. I watched some episodes. I know. I was like, I got to put it in there at some point. But I dealt with it a lot after I got hurt in high school. First time was like when I first started, experiencing depression and stuff like that was in high school when I didn't make the baseball team. It was like, that was the one thing I loved. Like I said earlier, it's like I had nothing else. It's like baseball, basketball, that was my life. I didn't worry about girls, none of that. It's like all I wanted to do was play sports and be the best. It's like I looked up to Big Papi and all that and stuff. And it's just like, I want to be the next Big Papi out there playing baseball. And it's just like, once I didn't have that, it was just like, what do I do? And everything else. And it was like, that was a good thing I had my cousin around and I started working out. And it's just like, just being in the gym, that saved me. It's like, it's one of those things, like I try to tell people all the time, it's like, just go to the gym, do a little cardio, work out a little bit, it'll make your day better no matter what. I don't care how the day is going. If you go into the gym, it'll make your day better by the end of it.
Dude, I've talked about this a lot, man. The gym just being that like starting point for everything else in life. Like if you don't got your shit together, the first thing I push to people is like, even if you don't go to the gym, but like starting fitness in general, working on your physical health, like that bleeds into everything because it breeds discipline, it breeds patience, like all these different factors. So it's so good for you, not only physically, but on the mental aspect, man. And it gives you purpose and it drives you towards other things. Like that's what I push towards clients and everything, man. So that's
I've always been that way, though. It's like once I started, it's like, just come on. I'm telling you, you'll be better off, And there's so many people. It's like, oh, I can't get to the gym. I'm like, well, you can still work out at the house. You don't have to come to a gym and pay that. I'm like, if you can't have the time for that, like, just hit some push-ups, sit-ups, and stuff like that. And one of my boys started doing that, and he's like, hey, bro, I need to tap in with Matt. He's like, he got me right, and I'm like, it's like I ain't never felt better and stuff like that. And he's just like, I'm just doing some basic stuff around the house and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, it makes a difference. It's like once you get that going.
I told my cousin the other day, I was just walk outside and start jogging.
Yeah,
just open your front door. And
go to Google Images and type in HIIT workouts.
Yeah,
that fucking simple. You'll get like a 20-30 minute thing of all the stuff you can do with your body.
Yeah,
and you do that all the fucking time, you're gonna progress.
Exactly.
And a lot of those moves you are like standing in a spot like burpees or something. Like you don't even have to go anywhere. You're just like
And I tell people it's like you don't have to. I'll wait until this and that. And I'm like, just do it. Just show up. I don't care if you just walk in there and do 10 minutes on a treadmill. Like that right there alone was just a start.
That's a start.
You don't have to be out here going in there for 2-3 hours. Like I don't know what people don't get about that. It's like you don't have to go to the extreme. Just start slow. Just take it easy.
I crush it, and I get all my training done in like 45 minutes. If I'll throw on boxing stuff too. So like. Definitely more than that every day, but still, like if I go to the gym for a lift, man, I'm efficient. 45 minutes, I've done a lot of work, and that's all I needed, man. It doesn't take much time, and I could probably cut it shorter than that. But people just think it's just going to be this long, daunting thing. But you can learn how to fall in love with it. You just got to see that you got to have the vision, for yourself too.
I never loved cardio. And here I am today going in doing 30, 45 minutes of just on the elliptical having fun. I'm like, let me go ahead. I'm going to do a little abs and get up out of here. I got stuff to do. It's like, but it's like I never would have thought I'd be the person going to the gym and just doing cardio.
Yeah.
Never. I was always that person that never did. It's like I'd be the one that walk into a gym and start deadlifting. I see 405 and some boys are trying to get hyped up and I'll just go over and pull it. That's how I got the bad knees, just doing stuff like that. But it's
warm
ridiculous.
up. What the fuck is that?
What y'all just standing around here? Oh, we're just trying to hype ourselves up for what?
Yeah.
Like I just dropped my gym bag and pull it. Like, yeah, go ahead, get to work, boys. And they was like, you just gonna walk in here and do that? I'm like, I mean, I didn't know if I could. I just did it to try to hype y'all up, and I could.
I got that shit. I love it. And there's something I was going to tack on with that too. So, but you, have you struggled like with that, you know, mental health and stuff like that since then?
Most definitely, all the time. But it's like I found new ways to like keep fighting and stuff like that. And that's why I love just talking with people. It's like the best thing you do is just talk to other people, get out, just do stuff. It's like I find myself hanging out at work on my days off because it's like, why do I want to go home and be by myself? Like, you know, right now is not the time. It's like I know I'm not in the right headspace or something like that, but it's just like, let me force myself to get out the house, you know, do this, do that, you know, and it's, you know, you'll stay on the right path that way. And it's just like, I just try to tell people that, like, you're doing the worst thing is trying to block everybody out and get away from everybody. I'm like, that's not what you need to do. It's just get out, see other people, talk, you know, you don't even got to talk. Like, just go out and hang out. Nothing have to be said. Just get with your boys, your girls, whatever it is, whoever it is, just go hang out with them, you know, do something like that. And it always picks you back up.
Dude, that would be me the end of last year, beginning of this year, man. When I was going through my shit and I was just like, I go work out and stuff, but like most of the time, like I get home and I just I'd sit by myself. I mean, I had my dog with me, she's the best, but you know, next thing you know, I'd make an excuse as to why I couldn't go hang out. Next thing you know, I'm 2 bottles of wine down, bro. I'm in an edible. I'm just sitting there just like fucking TV's not on. It's dark. I just got candles on, you know, lit. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with me, man? But that'll do it, man. The people.
I separate like that too. I just totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, because I didn't want to express my shit to everybody else because I got to, you know, Joe Adams, Relentless Pursuit. I got to be positive all the fucking time. Exactly. But guess what, dude? That's not. You can't do that, man. No. You can't wear the mask. So you fake it. You can only fake it for so long, and then you just like shit just crumbles. So
that was like I did that once, and it's like I exploded on one of my friends, and I'm like, I'm still sorry to this day. My friend Chance, I'm still sorry, but it's like it wasn't even what he did. It was just everything else I had bottled up. And it's just like, oh, nowadays it's like I'll talk about anything. It could be the worst stuff ever, and I'm just sitting there smiling about it. It's like, but I'm just getting it all off of my chest. I don't care about how bad it was now. It's like I made it through it. I'm still here. It's like, it's just making me stronger, you know? That's the way I look at it now. It's like, I'm going to use that as a strength, not a weakness and everything else and flip it. And that's why I say I roll my eyes back and I think about all that stuff when I'm working out because it's just like, I'm going to put the best out of me and everything else right now then because I'm focused and everything else. It's like, I can bring all that up and I'm just like, I'm really pissed off. And it's like, that's why I don't want people to come up and talk to me. It's like, I got to get back out of that mode to talk to you and stuff like that.
Dude.
It's ridiculous.
That's like one of my favorite things about having my own spot. Mm-hmm. You know, just like, I'll be honest, dude. I go in there and I just fucking do my thing. I don't got to talk to nobody because I get weirded out by that too. That'll crush your workout. Some people can just do it. Some people thrive in like that setting up 4 people talking the whole time but getting stuff done. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but me, I'll lose my shit, dude. I need to fucking get in the zone.
I can do it every now and then. It's not one of those things I could do all the time. It's like, no, I'd rather be in here by myself putting in the work. And every now and then it's like, hey, come spot me real quick. That's about it. That's all you're going to get out of me and stuff like that in the gym. But like now I've been more just open and talking and just like, you know, just seeing what everybody else is like thinking and feeling. Is like, okay, I could do this a little bit more, but being by myself is always the best. It's like headphones in, listening to my music and everything else. And I'll be like, I'll be in the middle of the gym dancing and everything else and not even think about it because it's like, I'm just in my zone. Yeah. I'm not worried about what everybody else is looking at. And it's like, oh, look at him doing all these weights. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm doing what makes me better.
Yeah, that was my thing too. I'll never forget. I don't know if I told Logan this. When was this? That's another thing with like being in the gym setting, you know, you feel people are going to like, you know, it's hard for me to tune that out. So I'm like, man, you know, my ego gets the best of me and I'm like doing a little more than maybe I should, you know, I get a little prideful and then you get fucked up that way. Like I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm not worried about anybody else. I remember one time Logan came out to do my like story video a while back at my old house at the home gym and I had some neck issues and he brought some chick with him. That was working with you.
Oh yeah, Hannah, that's right. I forgot she was there. I was like, well, I brought a chick with me. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, what? Yeah, and I was just like, oh shit, there's a female. I gotta like do more weight.
That's so funny that she was there. I haven't even talked to her in like,
you know, and it wasn't just like I wasn't like into her, but it was just like I gotta show out. I gotta look jacked, you know. And so I let my ego get ahead, and I knew I shouldn't have been pushing that way, but I was gonna be on video. There's a female present, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do a little more than we should. So I started doing overhead press with neck issues. And I remember for like a week straight, I was like, I couldn't even turn my head. I was like, Joe, you're a fucking dick. But like, I lit my pride. I was like, had to hold up this persona, right?
That's funny.
But it's funny. That's why I like my, my own space, because I don't let anything get in my head. I just do my thing. So I don't know. That's just how I roll. But I can't really tune it out.
I definitely couldn't do it at MTSU, because it's like these girls out here, they doing this stuff on purpose. It's like I was in the middle of the gym and some girl walked all the way over to the gym from the other side of the gym with dumbbells to straight leg deadlifts right in front of me while I'm on a shoulder press. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just going home. I can't even do this here. I'm like, I'm not working out.
You're like, fuck.
I'm like, I can't look straight ahead at the mirror that I was looking at, because you're right in front of me and you think I'm gonna be staring at you the whole time. I'm like, no, I'm looking at myself, making sure everything is right.
He's doing shoulder press. He's like, wait, it's today leg day.
What's going on?
What am I doing with my legs right now? But wait.
Exactly.
That's funny.
It's fascinating, like whenever you box and stuff, like having to switch over like that too, like that. Go into like the killer, like you could, because like you're pretty like, I mean, I guess soft spoken, but like you're kind of like a, what was it? Dude said unassuming.
Yeah, unassuming.
But you're just like you're kind of like a, you're a nice kind of guy. Like you don't seem like the kind of person, generally speaking, that would like go in there and kill somebody. Like
I think the image made
same thing with you, and like I mean, I'm pretty soft spoken, and like you wouldn't think that you could like tap into that, but you can, but having like. I don't know. Like I've tried to develop as much of a routine to try to get to tap into it as much as possible.
It's like Brett told me. Brett's pro BKFC and shit. Like he's a killer. But it's like he told me, because he was my first bare knuckle fight. He's like, Joe, you got what most people don't. Is that instinct? Flip that switch on, like go fucking. I'm gonna kill somebody. Like
just no remorse. It's like it's all gone out the window.
Yeah, a lot of people don't got that. So I'm like, but you can train yourself to be able to fucking flip that switch for that. Because at the end of the day, that's what the other guy's trying to do to you.
Yeah. So now it's like whenever I feel the laces go on, it's like it's time.
Yeah.
Feel the wraps go on, okay. It might be time. Then the
Might be
gloves
why I
go on.
love
It's
my
like
loud music too.
It's
like I get that music playing. It's like the subs are starting to hit. I can feel it. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's that time. It's that
like
time.
An activation thing. I love it. It's really interesting.
So another thing you said too is like, I don't know if I wrote this down right, but it said why losing all the time is bad, or did you mean to say why?
It's not bad.
Okay. So all right,
but it's like it's one of those things you can learn so much from a loss and stuff like that. Because like in high school, our basketball team, we was just catching L after L after L, and it's just like, all right, I got over that point where being sad is like, all right, we know what's gonna happen, but what can we learn from this? And it's like, all these times I'm always getting hurt and all this stuff, and it's like, well, it taught me how to relearn everything about weights. It's like I know all this knowledge now because I did get hurt. And it's like, no, I'm never going to go back to that situation again unless if it does happen, it's like I know what to do now though.
Yeah.
So it's always been that one thing. It's like people don't understand. Sometimes you losing at something or not getting what you wanted at that moment is just the best thing for you, because now like, I know I got to come correct next time.
Yeah, but it's also regaining that mindset too. A lot of people lose and they're like, fuck, okay, I'm done. It's like not quitting when you lose. It's like, oh shit, I'll take that loss, I'll take that hit, boom, I'm still going for it, I'm still putting in the work, because eventually that W is coming.
Exactly. It's like I've been in situations where it's like, oh yeah, there's Matt, so what? I'm like, all right, I see how it is. Okay, I bet I'll understand that down the road. It's like, all right, I know now, I'll learn from that and I'll move on, but I'll keep smiling and everything else. But it's like, oh no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. And the thing is, in life, dude, you're gonna have you're going to get to where you have all the W's, but then you're going to have some fucking hard losses, and you're going to be like, wait, this team, just like this analogy, but like, oh, this team was terrible and they fucking whooped my ass. Like, I lost against them, and then you just take these really hard hits, but that forces you to really go deeper and like analyze even more, where am I? Yeah.
Several photo shoots I lost over this year, but I never complained about it. I was like, all right, okay, oh well, let's keep moving, let's keep working. I'll find a way to make it work. It's like, you can't just let that downfall be it. No. I'm like, I'm going to overcome this. It's like, there's no giving up now. It's like, all right, those pictures are gone. But guess what? I'm going to go out shoot next week with somebody else, then do it myself, because those pictures got lost. Like, I'll find a way to make it work. It's
so
like,
you do photo shoots? Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to hit them up sometime.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm working to get a better camera now, but it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, I'm always down to do it. It's like, I'm down to learn. I'm always down. It's like, after losing so much, it's like, oh, yeah, what do I got to lose now? It's like, there ain't nothing that could go wrong. I'm like, I'm gonna find a way to bounce back. I mean, I watch my own boss at his little shop now. It's like I've seen him go all the way down to almost completely broke, and he has to work every day. And I'm like, I'm kind of technically out of a job right now, but it's like, all right, that means I must go out and get it myself now. It's like that's why I started washing cars so hard. And then next thing I know, I was over here detailing $100,000 vehicles and stuff like that out of nowhere. And it's just like, how did you get here? It's like I just put my head down and started making my own money. It's like I know I'm good at washing cars. I've been doing it since I got my first car, and it's like you never saw my car dirty. It's like, all right, well, yeah, hey, you need yours clean? Okay, I got you. Yeah, and I'll just post a picture here and there, and it's like people still ask me, like, you wash cars? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to promote it or anything crazy, but it's like, I'll still do it. It's like, I'm going to get the money one way or another.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, don't judge me based on my truck's mess. I went hunting yesterday, so.
It's very understandable. I know. I saw it when you had, the grand opening and everything here, so it's like, oh, yeah, it was on point.
Hell yeah. So yeah, man, that's an important lesson, dude, because like losses are very important as far as success goes. You got to be willing to, not be willing, but you got to learn how to handle that shit and move forward regardless, man. You can't quit.
It's like the good old Rocky, No
Yeah.
matter how hard you can hit, it's
Absolutely.
like you can get hit and get back up.
Yep, that's a fact, man.
How much you can take? How much you can take?
People use that quote a lot, but they don't apply it. It's just like, but really living it is a whole different story.
Exactly.
So
I heard a story the other day that was like it was like a folk tale or something, but it was like basically like a farmer came into like these two horses, like they like came to his house randomly, and everybody's like, oh, that's so great, like these two awesome horses like found their way to your house, and he said maybe, and then the next day his son was riding one of the horses and fell off and broke his leg, and then they said, oh my God, that's so terrible, your son broke his leg, and he said maybe, and then the next day the army came and drafted kids for the military and couldn't take him because his leg was broken. They were like, isn't that so great? He didn't get drafted. He said maybe. And then it just keeps going like that, right? And it's like you just never know why that happened or what it sets you up for. And that book Think and Grow Rich that I talk about a lot.
Yeah.
There's a phrase in there that he repeats several times, and he always puts it in all caps too. And it said every failure plants a seed of an equivalent victory. So like, if you fail spectacularly, that just plants a seed for you to succeed spectacularly.
Oh yeah. I love it, man.
I love me some good old quotes. I stay with him. It's like David Goggins being he's uncommon amongst uncommon people and everything else. And it was like, even this past week, I heard my pastor talking about the exact same thing, and I'm just like, just reinstating it and everything else. It's like you'll get comfortable in new areas in life and everything else, just because it might not feel right the first time you do it, or it's like the fifth time it don't feel right, but like just keep at it. You never know. It's like it could be the next thing. It's like me getting out and just doing events. I don't like being around people like that, but it's like now it's like, okay, yeah, I do enjoy this. I'm getting better at it. Like, at first, when I started doing videos and stuff like that, I didn't like being on the camera, and I didn't like hearing my voice talk or stuff like that. And it's just like now, it's just like, F it. Why not? I'm like, I need to get it out here now.
What do you got to lose?
Exactly.
And that's the thing with events too. Like I've always struggled with, like I'd get anxious about shit, especially when I have to like do something like that. I've done a lot of events, and I always crush them, but like before then, like the anticipation, like the day before and getting there, I'm like, fuck, dude, like. I don't know if we have enough of this. Like, you should ask Lydia. She's like, Joe, I'm so hard on myself, dude. I'm like my biggest enemy, man. I'm fucking mean to myself. And it's something I'm really working on. But, I'll be getting ready for an event, and then I'm just like, fuck, dude, what am I doing? And it's like I'm on the way there, and I'm like so anal about the timing and just all this shit. It's got to be perfect. And I'm just like so uneasy, bro. I'm so high anxiety and just like strung out. But then once I get going, I get there and I start talking to people and making things happen. I'm like, I'm in my, this is what I do, baby. Like, why the fuck did I even stress it? But every time, like clockwork, I still get that stressed out.
I'm the same way. I get super nervous right before I shoot every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And I was like, I've done this hundreds of times.
It's not bad. It's not a bad thing.
No.
It's
a good thing.
Also, you got to what I've tried to realize is that there's a very fine line between anxiety and excitement. Right.
Yeah, true.
So a lot of times, what I think is anxiety is actually excitement. But I'm so used to like labeling it as anxiety. I'm like, oh, I feel anxious, and I really think about it. I'm like, wait, no, I'm actually
happy.
excited.
I'm ready to do it.
Well, see, me with the anxiety though, the thing is like, but I start thinking negatively.
Yeah.
Like that's why I know it's anxiety, because I'll be like, man, like, what if like people aren't gonna buy shit? Like, I'm gonna fucking, I need, I just start thinking worst case of everything. Like, I don't know, like this shit's gonna fuck up.
That energy is still like pretty similar energy though. So even if you are feeling anxious, you can take that energy and kind of repurpose it for excitement.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's
point.
what I try to do. I mean, fuck, I'm not great at it, but
I love looking at weighing out all the good and bad. It's like it's always just got to be prepared for anything. Like back to being versatile and stuff like that. It's like, all right, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, bet I know that. What's the best that can happen? Okay, I'm okay with either way. It's like I know what to do next though. If either or happens, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to do this. If it goes wrong, I'm going to do this and do that. But it's always good to just be like, all right, yeah, it's okay. Every now and then think about what's the worst that could happen. But it's like, there's always still the best that can happen.
Yep. Hell yeah. I love that, man. I do want to ask too, like, you said you're on your fitness journey. You lost 60 pounds, what, in a year?
Yeah, a little over a year and a half, something like
yeah.
that.
What's your goal, man? What are you trying to get to?
I'm going to get down to like the 250, somewhere in that range, something like that. It's like, it'll be nice because I hadn't been that weight since like my freshman year of high school. Yeah. Like I've always been the bigger guy and everything else. And it's like, finally I'm going to do 300 pounds and stuff like that. And everybody used to say my weight, oh, you probably weigh like 160. I'm like, I wish. Oh, but yeah, I'm trying to get on down a little bit more. And it's like, I'm just taking it nice and slow. Now that it's getting cold, it's time to really start upping the cardio again. So I've been doing that and people looking at me like, you're doing 45 minutes on a stair stepper. Yep. I'm doing it.
Brutal. Monster.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, dude.
Cardio is my biggest issue in boxing, so.
Yeah. Cardio is most people's issue in fitness.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles with it at some point.
It's important, though. It's important.
I would get frustrated, like, at the end of a football season, I still wouldn't be in shape. Like cardio, like I still wouldn't be in good cardio shape. And I'm like, how is this fucking possible? Like I literally run every fucking day. Like I don't know, I also am like very fast twitch, explosive. Like that's how my body is built. My body's not built for distance. It's built for like explosions quickly. I'm very quick. But I'll outrun you for 10 yards, but you'll outrun me for 50. Right?
Yeah.
So like, anyways.
Oh yeah, man.
I felt that 1,000%.
So
the same way.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I just do hit workouts because I can get done fast. Like,
I love the fast twitch.
I'm
muscles.
like, 15 rounds on the air bike, I'm gonna die. But I'll do like sprints on that. But then 15 minutes later, I'm like, done.
I did that 23andMe, and there was a muscle composition breakdown, and there was like a specific variant that you can have that is like common in Olympic level power athlete, but power athletes specifically again because of the explosion, right? And I have 2 copies of that variant, which I feel very good about. And it makes a lot of sense.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
It's also why I throw really fast, really powerful punches for about 30 seconds, and then I'm like, okay, I'll see y'all next round. I'll see.
Oh yeah, it's like me. It's always been that way. It's like, oh yeah, okay, let's load up that bar. I'm like, all right, I'll hit a couple of them. That's it. All right, that's all you get. How are you so strong? But that's all the reps you can. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Like I did. I haven't lifted in years, but like last time I was really lifting heavy, I was doing like, I can't remember if I did 365 or 405. I really want to say I did 405 on deadlift. I would weigh like 160 pounds. Nice, just explosive, Cool. But don't have me do a long set of deadlifts.
Oh yeah.
No imams.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I do got to ask, and we're getting towards the end. We've been recording for a while. So what's ahead for you in the grind season? Like, what's ahead for the grind season, and then and yeah, like just tell us about that. I know you said there's more to come. But give us a little bit more for your brand.
I want to expand, the opportunity, everything else. It's like we're getting a little couple streetwear shirts and stuff like that. We're just going to keep elevating the game. It's like you're going to see a whole lot of new people around. We're going to start bringing more stuff in. It's like everything went so well this year. It's like it's time to keep amping it on up and everything else. It's like I've doubled profits this year and stuff like that. So it's like it's time to keep hitting people because it's like they think I'm really going hard, but I'm like, I could be doing so much more. Yeah. That's the thing about it. It's like it's time to show people. It's like, all right, I'll show you what I can really do. Yeah. It's like it's about the time to start hitting people in the face.
I tell you what, man, it reminds me of this shirt I'm putting out in January. It's going to say just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something I always tell myself, dude. Every step, I'm like, I'm just fucking getting started, baby. So, and that's what 10 years down the road, I'll say the same thing. Just getting started.
Exactly.
So it's like with the podcast. Whenever I tell you, I'm like, it's done so well. And we talk about it all the time, but like we're basically playing around.
Yeah, we're just getting started with this.
We're
shit.
literally just fucking around compared to like what we could be doing. Yeah. Right, and so it's like it's good. It's good to know.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
it's
I
good
love
feeling.
that phrase. I say it all the time too. It's just like, I'm just getting started. Oh, you did all this. We're just getting started.
Yeah,
hey, this is just the beginning.
It's
Never
like
there, bro.
If you saw all the things that I track and how low my own metrics for my own self are, you would know how far down on the gear shifter that we're working right now. So just.
Oh yeah, I felt that.
I feel you on the same thing. That's the same kind of message I've gone into 2023 with. It's like it's going pretty well, I feel like, and I've definitely dropped the ball in a lot of areas. I'm operating like probably 30-40% what I could be doing, maybe.
Exactly.
So like If I could just get 50, 60% out of me next year, then
exactly. Just go that 1% better all the time. That's what I do. Just getting 1% better. It's like every day if I get 1% better, then by the end of the year I'm going to be just a whole different person.
Yep.
So it's just like continuous. Just like I'll work on this field, grow on this. Get my diet a little bit better, learn a couple new things there. That's all I do. It's like literally just a little knowledge here, a little there. Just you eat away at it, and sooner or later enough, you'll be like, boom, there it is.
Yeah, and there's some things that might like backtrack a little bit, but like, what are you improving in? There's always something to move forward and get 1% better in. If your brand has like a fucking hard hit and it goes back a little bit, it's still going to go forward, but like, hey, you can fucking spend some time on your spiritual shit or in the gym, and like, you're going to improve regardless every day. So, before I ask my last question, so is there anything else you really want to touch on?
No, I'm just not really too much. It's just like I'm just gonna be here. It's like I'm here to stay. That's the one thing I'll say. I'm here to stay, and it's like once you see me, you're never gonna stop seeing me. That's the way I look at it. It's like every time I meet people and everything else, it's like I'll see you around instead of just goodbye. It's always I'll see you some point because we know we're gonna go full circle. It's like once I've seen you once, it's like you see we're in the same field. It's like we're gonna run into each other again.
I'm gonna be sitting in here like 2 weeks from now. He's just gonna be in the window like. I was like, oh, fuck, he really is going to see me around. Like, hey. I'm like, shit, dude.
Like, what are you doing here, dude?
But it's one of those things, just like, how we always know everybody, like back to that and everything else. It's like, you'll never know we'll run into each other. It's like, I might go to this random thing and then boom, hey, there's Joe. Hey, what's up, man? Just like, I wouldn't, just like, boom, I got a call. I'm like, hey, you want to help shoot this wedding? I'm like, I don't care. I'm down. And it was Tyler's wedding. That's how I got there. It's just like, what are you doing here, man? I'm like, I got called in. Somebody was sick, and they needed a backup cameraman. So here I am. It's like I'm coming through.
I saw him at Tyler's wedding. I had my pin. I'm just like, yo, here you go, dog.
I'm like, and Tyler asked me, I'm like, there's one time I didn't want to be a drug dealer, nothing like this. Hey,
that was a good time, man. Hell yeah, dude. And and I'm stoked to see where you're at. And you talked about you're going to always be around. I'm stoked to get you back on here in like a year or so, and let's see see where you've been, man. See what's happened since then. It's cool, and follow the progress. We're gonna, we're
all gonna grow.
Fuck.
I thought I heard that. I was like, did you hear it too? Yeah, I thought I heard it.
I thought we'd be done by now, so cut me some slack.
No, we got like a minute or two left.
So that being said, what's your relentless pursuit?
My relentless pursuit is just endless growth. I'm always going to continue to learn, grow, just be a better person, because it's like the more you. It's like my favorite quote is what I got in my Instagram bio. Your greatest weapon is knowledge. It's the one thing nobody in life can take from you.
Yep.
So it's like always continue to grow and learn, because you never know when you'll need it, but you can also learn so much, and you're like, oh yeah, I know this. If we do this, this, and this, it's like, boom, I can do that. Oh yeah, I know how to make my own shirts. Or, oh yeah, you want that? Oh, hold on 1 second. It's like I learned how to do Photoshop just because I wanted to work on just this one little thing for like a little clip or a thumbnail. It's like, that's why I learned Photoshop, to make a thumbnail.
Good shit,
and it's
dude.
like, it's stuff like that. And people's like, oh, hey, bro, can you change the color of this logo? Okay. Yeah, 2 seconds, boop, 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 doom. It's like, how'd you know how to do this? I'm like, I just got in here and messed around with it for long enough, and you'll figure it out.
Hell yeah, man. I love that, dude. Very well said, and I'm stoked to follow it, man.
Yes,
Stoked to follow your progress and be in touch, man. Anything you ever need. So that being said, Matt, thank you for coming on, bro.
Glad to have me. Hey, I'm just always thankful and grateful for being out, just trying to put the message out there.
Good deal, bro. Good deal. Well, say farewell.
Hey, I'll see y'all people. Just remember, the grind don't stop.
That's true. All right, guys, thank you for coming. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, and review. Keep following what we're doing, and thanks for being here.